Still looking for gifts for an ADHD loved one? Maybe yourself? May I suggest my book? You can pre-order it now everywhere books are sold. I'm very excited to share that this episode is sponsored by Audible. Stick around till the end of the video to learn more about it.
Hello, brains. If you've ever had therapy or read an article on the internet in the last decade, you probably know boundaries are important. They help keep us and our relationships healthy. But how do you know where they should even be? Personally, I didn't have great examples of healthy boundaries growing up. Some people in my life never expressed their boundaries and gave of themselves to the point that it hurt them. And some people were so inflexible with their boundaries that they steamrolled and hurt others. On top of not necessarily having great examples growing up, like a lot of people with ADHD, I can't always tell when it's okay to take up the space I need. How to, as Brene Brown puts it, learn how to be present with people without sacrificing who we are. A lot of the time, I'm worried about being too little or being too much. So I wanted to share a metaphor I love. It was shared with my partner, Dr. Raphael Bukamatsu, by a supervisor of his, and it's what I think of now when I'm trying to figure out how to navigate the space between myself and others. When it comes to boundaries, there are 3 types of people in the world. 1, bowling balls dropped into a bin full of inflated balloons. The bowling ball gets its way, but it damages some balloons in the process. This is what happens when our boundaries are too rigid, or when we try to put boundaries on other people and make them do what we want. Another word for this is steamrolling. We push right past others' limits or ignore what they need so we can get our way. 2, uninflated balloon in a bin full of bowling balls. As the balloon tries to inflate and expand, it has to move around the bowling balls and never gets the space it needs to be its full size. This is what happens when our boundaries are too flexible, often in the presence of those who are not. We navigate around others and don't get to fully expand. This can happen when we chronically put others' needs first or feel uncomfortable speaking up for what we need. 3, inflated balloon in a bin full of inflated balloons. When the balloon tries to move around, the other balloons need to shift. Sometimes the other balloons can't shift, and the balloon doesn't get what it wants. But it also means that every balloon gets to take up its full space. This is what happens when we have healthy boundaries. We can speak up for what we want and need, and set healthy limits for ourselves, while respecting others' right to do the same. Those with ADHD can fluctuate among all 3 of these roles. Sometimes when we try to take up space, we accidentally become bowling balls. Sometimes we act more like the uninflated balloon, trying to people please and navigate around others' boundaries, even in situations where there is room for us to take up space. When we set boundaries, we want to aim to be an inflated balloon in a bin full of inflated balloons. A balloon that is fully expanded, but allows others to take up space too. Even knowing this, it can be tough to get the balance right sometimes. But I really like having a simple model to remind me of my goal, to be an inflated balloon in a bin full of inflated balloons, to make sure I'm taking up space, while allowing others to do the same. Oh, and by the way, boundaries, I learned, aren't only no boundaries. They're not just about what you don't want or what isn't okay for you. There are yes boundaries too. I do want this thing, or these are my needs. Yes, we have needs. All humans do. If you need help figuring out which ones aren't being met, there's a great resource I'll share in the description about common human needs and the feelings that come up when they aren't met. You can also check out my video about how to say no here. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know how you think about boundaries and what helps you know how and when to communicate them. Thank you to my brain advocates and all my Patreon brains for supporting my team and I so we can make content like this available for anyone who might benefit from it. Oh, and stick around to hear about our sponsor. That's also why we can do videos like this.
I love listening to audiobooks, and the Audible app makes it easy to listen anywhere, while traveling, working out, doing dishes. This month, I've been listening to Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. This audiobook is amazing. Every time I listen to even a little bit of it while I'm doing chores or whatever, I come away with some really great information about how to communicate more effectively. Really helpful for the holidays, especially. Today I learned about identifying the difference between requests and demands, which is a really important part of having healthy boundaries. As an Audible member, you can choose 1 title a month to keep from the entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. If you don't have Audible, you can get a free Audible trial by going to audible.com/howtoadhd or texting howtoadhd to 500-500. Okay, back to the video.
Like, subscribe, support our sponsors, click all the things, and I will see you next video. Bye, brains.